Welcome back. Seekers of Truth. I'm your host, Dave.
And I'm your host, Ant-Man. And happy Thanksgiving, y'all. So before we get started with the podcast here, I was about to go attack this turkey here, when all of a sudden it just came to life and it said, "Join the Patreon." And so naturally, I did what any sane person would do and listened to the haunted, possessed turkey. And I went to the first link in the description where you all can just, for $5 a month, help us on our journey to create our own lovely studio podcast room, where we could be like acting like we're in a spaceship, have some props, it'll be a fun time, and you all can join us on that journey, and we'll be most thankful. What we would also be thankful for is getting away from this freaking piece of shit. Oh shit! And to honor this whole family and friends tradition, let's go back to the early days of how this all began, starting off with the Pilgrims coming forth to Plymouth, Massachusetts. Dave, you want to take it away?
Yeah, Plymouth Rock is a large granite boulder on the shore of Plymouth, Massachusetts, and it's traditionally recognized as the spot where the Pilgrims first set foot in the New World on December 1620.
But here's the eerie part. While it's become a powerful symbol of America's beginnings, there's no true historical evidence that the Pilgrims ever actually stepped foot on that specific rock. But the story didn't even appear until over a century later in 1741, when a local elder claimed that his father had told him the rock was the landing site. By then, most of the original witnesses were long gone though.
Still, Plymouth Rock has become a national symbol, representing courage, freedom, and the founding of a new world. But beneath that polished story lies something deeper.
For centuries, it's also symbolized the collision of two worlds, European settlers arriving on the native land, bringing with them faith, disease, and change that would reshape this very continent. To some historians and spiritual thinkers, the rock isn't just a marker of arrival, it's a memoir of disruption.
And get this, when they first tried to move the rock in 1774, it split in half. Some saw that as a bad omen, a physical fracture reflecting coming divisions in America itself, right before the Revolution.
So while Plymouth Rock might seem like just a stone in Massachusetts, it's really a metaphor carved by history, a story about beginnings, loss, and the myths we choose to remember. Now, I don't know about you, but, with that being said, the Mayflower passengers arrived December 21st. If you wanted an exact date, it was basically December 21st. And apparently they chose this for safety and stability for the settlement. Now why is that though? Why did they think this was their new home?
Maybe they just thought they were going to claim it, and they're just like, yeah, this is ours now.
Yeah.
That'd be a very interesting way to have it.
Well, in the early 1600s, England was a place of religious control. The Church of England, ruled by the crown, allowed little room for dissent. A small group of radical believers, known as the Separatists, wanted to purify their faith to worship freely without the king or the church dictating how. But that freedom came at a price. They were branded heretics. Their meetings were outlawed. Many were imprisoned, tortured, or executed for defying the church. So, in secret, they fled to the Netherlands, a land known for its religious tolerance. Yeah.
For a while, it worked, but life there was hard. They were foreigners, struggling with language, poverty, and fear that their children would lose their English identity. Worse still, war between Spain and the Dutch Republic loomed on the horizon. To them, it felt like the end of their world. Now, why they chose the New World? The idea of America, the New World, wasn't about adventure. It was about escape. They wanted a place untouched by kings, bishops, and inquisitions. A place where they could rebuild life from the ground up, answerable only to their God. They set out aboard 2 ships, the Speedwell and the Mayflower. The Speedwell leaked and turned back, a bad omen that they ignored. So they continued on the Mayflower alone. After 2 brutal months at sea, they were supposed to land near the Hudson River, modern-day New York. But storms and possibly poor navigation pushed them north to the icy shores of Cape Cod. When they stepped onto land on December 21st, 1620, it wasn't part of the plan. It was survival.
Wait, so they landed in Massachusetts by accident?
No. It was more of like, yeah, we gotta get on land here because we gotta live. So
now, feel beneath this faith. Imagine it. Snow falling, bitter Atlantic winds, half the people sick or dying, and no shelters, no allies, and whispers that savages lived in the forest beyond. They built their colony, Plymouth, out of desperation, but deeper than that, they believed they were being led there, that this frozen wilderness was not a mistake, but a divine sign. In their writings, they spoke of being chosen by a god to build a new dualism, a sacred place, free from corporation. To them, the wilderness was both a curse and a test. But here's where it gets eerie. Some early settlers wrote of strange lights in the night skies, echoes in the forest, and unseen voices carried by the wind. To people steeped in superstition, the new world wasn't empty. It was haunted. To the native peoples, that land was ancient and alive, filled with spirits, sacred places, and stories older than any European scripture. So in a way, the Pilgrims weren't just running from persecution. They were stepping into a land where the veil between the living and the dead, the sacred and the unknown, was already thin. Yikes, Cube.
Were they afraid of or running? Both. They were afraid of their king, afraid of war, afraid of losing their faith and identity, but also maybe afraid of what waited in the dark beyond the edge of their world. They believed they were fleeing man's corruption, but they also sailed straight into nature's mystery, a land older, wilder, and far more spiritual than anything they'd ever known. And when they landed on that winter solstice,
the darkest day of the year.
It's almost poetic, isn't it?
Yeah.
We're running from darkness, arriving in the dark to build a city of light. Wow, it's amazing. Beautiful. Let's talk about some of the mysterious and rather unexplained events that have apparently been reported near Plymouth Rock. Most of it's like paranormal activity and ghost stories, but it's interesting stuff. Like,
do they haunt that very land to this day? Because of
supposedly that's the story. But nearby there's like a 1741 lighthouse that's supposedly haunted by this Hannah Thomas and a young woman. There's a few other historical locations in Plymouth, such as like the Taylor House, Old Plymouth Courthouse. It's kind of like more folklore, but it's definitely known for the area is definitely known for its ghost tours, and they investigate like mysterious happenings and stuff there. One of the interesting ones is the John Carver Inn and Spa, believed to be built over the land where a Revolutionary War hospital once stood. So that's already pretty crazy, pretty dark. A variety of inexplicable incidents plague the 3rd floor, and much of the activity seems to center around room 309, in which a supposed lady in white has appeared to, startle the guests. So that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, there's also the ghost of gratitude. Ever feel uneasy around Thanksgiving? That weird chill, like the past is watching through the window? Some call it nostalgia, but maybe it's something else. The spirits of those forgotten by the feast. The tribes, the lost settlers, the vanished harvest gods. Every year when millions gather to give thanks, that ancient energy stirs again, the mix of life, death, and gratitude that humanity's carried since the beginning. So as you carve your turkey and light your candles, remember that the shadows are still listening.
Yeah, very, very interesting. What do you think about?
Well, folks, if we cut off, sorry, but it cut off. My bad. I accidentally pressed the P button.
Yo, my bad, bro. My bad, G. Oh, that's funny.
No, I'm just saying. The cosmic irony. Hey, we got some Thanksgiving paradoxes.
That's actually wild.
We wanna get in.
Or?
Yeah, it is now.
Awesome. So, what can we get into that's near that area, you know what I mean?
Well, I figured out some Thanksgiving paradoxes if you want to try to get into some of those. Here's one. The Thanksgiving paradox is a correlation between gratitude and guilt, celebrating abundance on the same ground where suffering once began. It asks, can a nation truly give thanks when its origins are rooted in loss?
Yeah, man.
No, that's
We definitely can. Why not? Be thankful for everything you have. You know what's also interesting? Sure. Now, I'm not saying aliens, but aliens, right?
Oh great, here we go again. We got more aliens coming and evolving into Thanksgiving now. They're involved in everything.
Just funny. Although, in the broader Plymouth, Massachusetts area and the surrounding South Shore, there have been some incidents, per se, pertaining to UFO sightings. Pretty interesting.
You know what's crazy though? Oh my god.
Plymouth Airport sighting of 2021.
You're right.
Witnesses claim to have seen a silvery, now this is a quote-unquote, silvery ellipse that appeared to hover for a few seconds. Crazy.
Yeah. Oh, yo, that's so funny. You cut out there, so I kept picturing a sober alien just flying around Massachusetts. When you said silvery, the audio cut to made it sound like sober.
What the fudge?
No, that's an amazing imagery.
So in August, okay, this is recent. This is pretty recent. Of 25 this year. Apparently there was a strange orb with a cloud around it, reportedly observed by multiple witnesses across several towns in Massachusetts, including near Plymouth. The object was said to move and behave pretty spooky. There's also South Shore mass sighting from 1972. Numerous residents around the South Shore reported seeing a large, silvery and transparent triangular object moving through the night sky. The Weymouth Naval Base received many calls about the event, and a duty officer said that they could not explain the object. That's pretty sus. I'm not gonna lie. But imagine getting a call like that. They're like, hey, you guys like doing tests or something? And then there's like, you have no idea what the heck you're talking about. Like, imagine just having to say that.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy, bro.
So there's
1972 though.
So about what I was talking about with cosmic irony, Thanksgiving, it doesn't just live in history, it's also cosmic. Humanity thanks the universe for the abundance, even though the universe itself is mostly empty. We feast in the dark on a tiny blue world surrounded by silence and cold. We celebrate warmth in a universe that doesn't care if we freeze. Maybe gratitude itself is the paradox, the human defiance against entropy.
That's pretty interesting. It's very interesting. So interesting in fact.
That is very deep. And that is true, because who even knows what else is out there? You know what I mean?
I'm joking. Who knows what's out there? Yeah, no idea, man.
Are you farting? Or are you good?
Yeah, I did.
I hear you swallowing.
Unleash the bowels. I was like, yeah, that's pretty interesting, man. And then I stood up out of my chair, pointed my ass at the tablet.
Bruh.
Just let it rip, man. Oh, that was so funny. I hope it was caught on recording. Oh, man. Anyway.
Now, if
more serious topics, man.
If anyone heard of, you know what I mean? If anyone heard that it was the darkness of the universe, its asshole just whipped in the multiverse.
Nah, just take it out of the video, man. It will go in the bloopers portion.
No, but for real, let's talk about the ghost on the
What you said.
I couldn't keep a straight face. I just thought of a crazy ass transition. You know how the phrase, let's talk about the elephant on the table. I said let's talk about the ghost on the table.
No, you're talking about the phrase, let's talk about the elephant in the room.
Yeah, my bad. But I just thought of a phrase of let's talk about the ghost on the table.
Bro. Yeah, I don't know why you said that.
No, but for real. But hear me out. Think about it. Every Thanksgiving table is a ritual.
That's wild, bro.
Candles, food offerings.
Is it really a ritual, though?
People gathered in a circle. It mirrors something ancient, older than the Pilgrims, older than the New World. In ancient Europe, salmon marked the time when the veil thinned, when the dead could join the living one last time before winter. Yo. Okay. Yeah, so this ties in to the last episode when we talked about Halloween. See, we feast on laid out spirits, empty in chairs left for our ancestors, gratitude offered not to gods, but to memory.
Yeah, nah, bro, I ain't leaving no empty chair, dude. I'm just gonna make some good food, eat it. I'm not gonna do no candles either. That's kind of weird.
You don't do candles on Thanksgiving?
No.
Well, I'm not. We're not talking about rituals.
Going on normally.
If you're talking about rituals, like I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking like about the dinner table in general.
Did you hear that? Pretty special.
Was that the universe feast?
All right, guys, gentlemen, ladies.
No, but for you, it doesn't just stop
good
there.
Conversation, discussion revolving around Thanksgiving, Pilgrims, Plymouth Rock, hauntings, aliens. I'm not trying to say aliens, but
the universe.
So, yeah. Why don't you take it away with the universe?
Yes, in fact, I was about to get onto that because gratitude itself defies the universe. The universe is cold, empty, indifferent, indefiant. It doesn't care if we live or die, and yet here we are, feasting under the void, raising glasses to stars that died before our ancestors learned to speak. Maybe gratitude is the universe's greatest condensation, the act of finding meaning in a place that shouldn't have any, a flicker of warmth in the cold mystery of time. Now that right there was the universe feast paradox, where I think what the paradox is trying to mention is the universe is feasting on us, which that is true. I mean, we are getting pulled into the great attractor. That's what I was trying to look for. Realistically, before we even get into this subject, if anyone out there is excellent at podcast editing, hit us up. It would be nice to have an editor, because we really don't have the time to be spending on editing shit like this. But look, no, really, the only reason why I'm interrupting this broadcast is I just wanted to get this out of the way. We couldn't come up with the great attractor when we were alive, because, well, quote unquote alive, because I don't know, I just couldn't fucking remember what it was, you know what I mean? So yeah, here we are. But so take a good look into your soul real quick and close your eyes and count to 5 seconds, okay? Now you see, you just moved 3,000 kilometers or 1,800 miles from where you were when you just closed them, thanks to the gravitational pull of the Great Attractor. This is a region of intergalactic space 150 to 250 million light years from Earth that's slowly drawing in the Milky Way and thousands of other galaxies closing in on it. And if this is true, which I'm not sure if it is, but when I heard about this years ago, it sounded insane, you know what I mean? Almost like a black hole, you know what I mean? But how would it affect all these other galaxies, you know what I mean? So it's pretty interesting, but I don't know, it's pretty terrifying though, because who the hell knows what's at the end of this? Are we going to get to the end of it? But the key thing is to remember here is that in space, nothing is ever still. You probably know about this, even if you're sitting right here, right now, listening to the podcast, you know? Earth is spinning on its axis at a speed of around 1,600 kilometers or 1,000 miles per hour. It's also whizzing around the sun at around 108,000 kilometers an hour or 67,000 miles per hour. And beyond that, there's the solar system's own velocity to take into account, as it circles the entire center of the Milky Way at a staggering 830,000 kilometers an hour or 500,000 miles per hour. Dude, these numbers are just so incomprehensible. It's like, who even fucking comes up with these numbers, you know? I really wonder how they even math any of this out, you know what I mean? But unfortunately, my boy Dave isn't here to back me up on here, so here we are, you know, because this is just, you know, the post-eclipse, and here we are. We're just taking a brief moment to talk about this real quick. So how did the Great Attractor get discovered? Well, astronomers studying the redshift of other galaxies, the extent of which their light has been stretched out to longer wavelengths on its journey to Earth, which is a useful indicator of their distance. So you would notice that the Milky Way and other nearby galaxies seemed also to be moving at around 600 kilometers a second towards a point in which space lying behind the plane of the Milky Way in the direction of the constellations Triangulum, Australis, the Southern Triangle, and Norma, the Carpenter's Square. Unfortunately, lying behind the Milky Way's galactic plane put this region in the zone of avoidance, the part of space where we can't see anything because it's blocked by the light of the Milky Way. Now, what the hell does that have to do with anything though? Why does light have to be blocking anything though? Now, tell us your observations. As to this, the Great Attractor's effects were first observed in 1978. It wasn't until nearly a decade later, following advances in X-ray astronomy, that we were able to create more accurate maps of the universe and so work out what was going on. Yeah, sorry, my mouth is pretty fucking dry and it's annoying the shit out of me. So, yeah. So now, really, what is the true Great Attractor? In other words, it's not much of a thing like a star, comet, or galaxy, but a place, the central gravitational point of the Lacania supercluster, and that's where we're hurtling at a dismally 600 kilometers a second, to which that point is 600 kilometers a second equals to just about 1.34 million miles per hour, like dog, which is roughly 0.2% the speed of light, or 0.2% the speed of light, however you really want to phrase that. But still, like, bruh, I know it's like not even 1% of the speed of light, but still, any percent of the speed of light is crazy. The speed of light in general is just stupendously crazy. So here's the catch though. The Lacania isn't gravitationally bound in the way that galaxies and galaxy groups are. So thanks to the dark energy that is causing the expansion of the universe to accelerate rather than slow down, all its components are gradually moving apart at a quickly rate. But eventually, dark energy will have pushed the Great Attractor region so far away from us that it will no longer pack the kind of gravitational clout, and instead of the Milky Way being drawn towards the Great Attractor, it will start moving away from us. Which is, Bro, so they're literally bringing in dark energy / dark matter. I don't really know if those two are really the same thing. We did a brief segment on that shit in the very first episode, but yeah, bro, we don't even know what that shit is anyways. They were just basically saying this unforeseeable force is literally trying to pull us into it at a rapid speed, but yet we can't feel it. Like, fuck, where's all the sci-fi fucking warp speed and Star Wars light speed, you know what I mean? That's always how I pictured how light speed was. But no, apparently it never was. But no, I guess we have to get back to the damn video now.
Black hole?
I mean, you could probably say that, but I mean,
I'm pretty sure we know we're getting sucked into a black hole because everybody'd start getting stretched into oblivion.
No, but it started with an A. Quick, Dave! Look it up. It starts with an A.
It starts with an A. Look that up.
It's something cosmic.
Yeah, I got you.
It's like the extraction. It's something, but no, it is scary though. You know what else is scary? How is the moon moving away 1 inch every year? No, not 1 inch. That's way too much. Or did they say that? It's like a centimeter. It's like a millimeter a year that they say the moon moves.
Yeah, the moon's whack, bro. Pretty wild. Just saying. There's a whole other video in itself, man. We could talk about the moon for like hours. Gentlemen, ladies, scholars, and all of the peoples alike, we appreciate the time you took to sit here on this thankful and grateful day. And
we do give thanks to our non-fellow listeners. Thank you for not listening. We appreciate it. Now tune in next time in our own ghostly universe where we talk about the history of Christmas. I know this seems short, but at last, you know, we don't want to bore you. We don't want to bore you guys, you know what I mean? But for real, I think this was our best episode yet. It was funny as shit. Man, would I like to say, Dave, you got anything else to say about Thanksgiving or anything? Like, we didn't even talk about modern time. We just talked about the 1600s.
Yeah, pretty much. And like a few other time periods in between, but...
Oh yeah, when you were talking about aliens in the 1600s though,
a blessed Thanksgiving to all of you.
No, but for real, when you were talking about aliens and stuff in the 1600s, I just thought about the one alien sighting that they had in the 1600s as well. And it was actually in Massachusetts as well, but it was like a different part of it or something. It probably was during this time, but these people probably didn't see. Oh, maybe they did. Maybe we'll never know.
We'll leave that up to you guys to decide for yourselves. Go seek the truth. Dave out.
And as always, the signals will never stop. Even if you're not listening, it will not stop. Jesus.